Jesus, Americans sure are bad drivers. We either don't care, we don't know how to drive, or likely both. I'm a pretty good driver, I must say, but I think most people think they are too. But when you dig deep into the data of how badly we're driving and how many Americans break the law while driving and never get caught, it's quite clear. We're the United States of America. Today we're going to examine the states with the worst drivers of all. To determine this assumption, we measured 4 different things. First of all, we looked at the number of people who were uninsured, because that indicates a previous poor driving record, and well, it's not legal. Second, we looked at which states have the most drivers who have DUIs, because that's just terrible. Third, who's getting the most traffic tickets. And lastly, which states have the most auto accidents. It doesn't get any more clear than that, right? Add it all up and you can tell in which states you can drive around pretty safely in, and in which states you need to drive very defensively in. Let's get started. Drivers, if you're driving and you're texting and you're tired and you tailgate and you're reckless, then you shouldn't have a license. So put the phone down, use your signal, try to merge right, try to slow down, get the hell out of the left lane and get the hell over out of my way. Ooh, look at this. We're in Missouri. Looks peaceful enough. But don't let your guard down here, fella. Now, to calculate what type of drivers are behind the wheel in Missouri, and to know how bad they sorta are, we had to look under the hood. 14% of Missouri drivers are uninsured. That's the 16th highest rate in the country. The Show Me State had 4.3 DUI arrests per 1,000 drivers, which is also 16th highest in the country. Missouri ranks 15th for number of traffic deaths per capita, and in terms of traffic tickets, Missouri drivers receive them at a rate that's the 12th highest. Add it all up and their score is 81.6. See, that's not too hard a road to navigate, right? Unless you live in Missouri, then you probably can't navigate anything. All right, we're in Tennessee. I'm driving around looking at all the pretty dames. Here in Tennessee, drivers are a little bit worse than in Missouri. Their DUI rate's lower here. Tennessee folks rank about middle of the road for drinking and driving, which is awful nice of them. But they make up for it in insurance irresponsibility. 1 in 5 people here doesn't drive with it. That's breaking the law at a high rate. Tennessee drivers have the 12th most traffic accidents each year, and they receive the 14th most traffic tickets too. Now we're talking about the states with the worst drivers, but I wondered which countries have the worst drivers, so I Googled it. Now, the countries with the most alcohol-related driving deaths are South Africa, Canada, and here. It looks like African nations have the highest number of traffic accidents. That's because their roads are all beat up, traffic laws aren't enforced, and people pack themselves into cars here well beyond capacity. And the cars are often old and not maintained. Now, people say that in places like China, it's chaos on the roads, and rumor is that in Russia, everybody's boozed up behind the wheel and car insurance scams are all the rage. But the World Health Organization put out a report that's 424 pages. I'm not reading that shit. Basically, after skimming it, it's clear that the United States is towards the top for number of traffic deaths, but that's because we drive the most. So now you know. All right, we're in Alaska now. I'm probably going to find me a redneck party, probably shoot me a moose, then hop in my big old truck, because that's what everybody up here does. Well, not everyone, but lots of people do. Alaska ranks 5th for DUIs per capita. And that's just who's getting busted, because this place is wide open, hombre. Odds are in these parts you could get all whiskeyed up and plow your way home and no one would even know it. Furthermore, Alaska ranks 4th for number of traffic deaths per capita. That's been blamed on excessive speed, impairment, and seatbelt use, or a lack thereof. But what saves Alaska from ranking even higher on this list is its drivers are insured at a pretty high rate, and that its drivers get the 3rd least number of traffic tickets. However, the lack of traffic enforcement might be because it's Alaska. How do you adequately patrol the roads up here? If you're curious, and I know you are, the states with the highest rates of drunken drivers are by far South Dakota and North Dakota, with Hawaii and Wisconsin a distant 3rd and 4th. Now, I have friends in North Dakota, and I've seen firsthand how really inebriated people just hop in their cars and drive home just about every night of the week. Monday fun day, Tuesday fun day, Wednesday fun day. It never ends up there. Which state has the 7th worst drivers? Arizona does. Way out west in this fast-growing state, The number of insured drivers is pretty much about average, and they rank 17th for traffic tickets. But this state ranks 8th for DUIs and 8th for number of traffic deaths each year. Not a lot of safety on these roads. Now, earlier we talked about the countries with the worst drivers, but which countries have the best drivers? Based on traffic accidents, it's mostly European countries: Sweden, Denmark, Britain, really? Switzerland, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, places like that. But if you ask people which countries have the best drivers, well, that's a different story. The world agrees Germany has the best drivers. But look at this, Americans think they're the best, and the rest of the world doesn't agree. Typical.
I think I'm a great driver.
Hey, Mappy, you look calm and professional behind the wheel. I don't think I've ever actually seen you drive before. You have a weird stare when you drive. Are you looking at me or the road or...
He's a terrible driver. I always have to tell him to speed up. Mr. Slowpoke over there.
I drive just fine. Sit over there and look at your phone some more, would ya?
You stopped way before the light. You can't park. It's nerve-wracking, just...
Okay, all right, we're moving on. We're gonna check on you guys again later. Oh, those two, I swear to God. Howdy. I'm driving the big old state of Texas. My big old truck with my big old dog in the back of my big old pickup bed. Now, Texans may not agree, but the numbers don't lie. These are some dangerous roads. Texans don't really stand out too much in any one category. From worst to best, drivers here get the 9th most tickets, are involved in the 10th most traffic deaths, have the 14th most DUIs, and 15th highest number of uninsured drivers. It's not too bad, but are Texans really bad drivers, or do the numbers lie? Let's call somebody and find out. My name is Nick, and I'm doing a YouTube video on the worst drivers in the country, and Texas ranks really high. Does Texas have bad drivers?
Oh, no me den nada, es la misma, es la misma. Let me check, okay? One moment, okay?
Well, no, you can tell me.
Where can I help you?
Hi there. I am wondering if there are bad drivers in Texas.
Yes.
Oh, well, don't let your guard down while driving in Nevada, because if you do, you might find yourself in a bad place. Now, the problem here isn't insured drivers. If you look in the glove box, it's quite impressive. 9 in 10 people here have car insurance. But look in the trunk. Nevadans have the 11th most DUIs, 11th most traffic deaths, and the most traffic tickets of any other state. What's interesting about Nevada is at one point they considered decriminalizing traffic tickets, but they didn't do it. But they did decriminalize pot, and now everybody in Nevada drives around differently. Now, of course, there's a stereotype that Asians are the worst drivers, but is that true? No. The Asian population has slightly more traffic accidents than the white and black population. It's the Native Americans that are the worst drivers, at least on paper. Hispanics are also more likely to wreck their rides. In terms of age, younger people clearly have more car accidents than any other age group. But in terms of people dying in car wrecks, the elderly die at a much higher rate. Makes sense. And in terms of religion, it's clear Mormons are the best drivers. There's no doubt about that. And this guy knows it. Poor horsey. All right, now we are driving in Florida. I'm gonna find me a Publix, probably find me a country music party. Look at the beautiful sunset over there. This is nice. I like Florida. Of course Florida ranks high on this list. When's the last time you drove there? Every time I drive to Florida, it's immediately clear when I'm in Florida. Like, as soon as I cross into Florida from Georgia, the driving gets really interesting. Like, crazy people going 100 across all 4 lanes at a time. Tons of people here driving it like they stole it. Or the opposite. Numbers-wise, it ain't purty. Florida has the most uninsured drivers in the nation at 27%. But conversely, Florida has the 8th lowest number of DUI cases every year, which is interesting. Floridians also get the 10th most traffic tickets every year. That's also interesting. You could say that Florida drivers are mostly transplants, rednecks, and old people, none of which really abide by or even understand local traffic laws. I'm driving through California right now, and I'm not going very fast because traffic's a bitch, and I pretty much deal with this like every day. So that's just how it is here. Here in California, 15% of people don't have car insurance, and the DUI rate is the 12th highest in the nation. The number of fatal car wrecks is sort of high, but not crazy high. And for some reason, Californians get the 5th most traffic tickets, which I don't understand, because you can't really go fast here. I mean, when I left California, everybody was making fun of me because I drove slow. And I was like, I'm not used to driving faster than 60, because you never really can where I'm from. You know what? Let's call my mom and find out what she thinks of California drivers.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, son.
How are you?
I'm feeling pretty good.
I am working on another video on the worst drivers in the country, and guess which state is third?
California?
California is the third worst state for drivers. Do you agree?
Oh my God, I'm not surprised. These people are crazy out here. Absolutely nuts. I am not, and I'm not surprised. Every day I see people running through stop signs, running lights, hauling ass down this street, on the freeway. They race on the freeway. 2 lanes we've got on the 210 to the 10, and they're racing on the 210. They're crazy. They don't care, and they don't stop. They hit you, they kill you, they just keep going.
Yeah, and I think that the legal pot has made things worse, right? That's what I hear.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're all stoned, and they're listening to their music, and they're all got this, and it's the testosterone, and they're killers.
Yeah, when I come visit, I can tell when I'm driving around at night, if I'm tailgating somebody, you can tell they're high. They pull over. They think I'm a cop, and they pull over, and it's like they're all paranoid. Maybe California should be first worst.
Maybe they should be first. Who's first? A lot of these people out here don't bother to get driver's licenses. I'm not sure that that's even still a requirement.
Well, you stay safe out there driving around and stay out of everybody's way. And
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for calling.
all right, enjoy. Thank you. Bye, Mom.
Okay, all right, bye.
Thanks, Mom. Always there for me. I'm down here in Alabama now. Are we bad drivers? Now we're getting to some bad drivers now. Alabama has the second worst drivers in the country, statistically. That's not cool. Alabama's people are nice, right? Well, they might be nice, but there's some real lawbreakers behind the wheel. 2 in 10 people driving around these parts doesn't have car insurance. That's not cool. Your odds of dying in a car wreck here are the 6th highest in America, which means really bad drivers. And folks here might make some good possum stew, but they get the 4th most traffic tickets of all Americans. What's also interesting, and why Alabama doesn't win this whole race, is that likely because this is the Bible Belt, Alabama people hardly ever get a DUI. They just don't drink very much, I guess. At least most people in Alabama don't.
Slow down. You're gonna hit that car.
Be quiet, Mappy. I see him.
You're tailgating. Why is everything a race with you?
Is she scaring you, Mappy? You don't look too comfortable in the passenger seat.
I hate riding in the car with her. I'd rather just take the bus.
All right, well, you know what, guys? Let's solve this once and for all. Who are the better drivers, men or women? Well, according to this once and for all argument settler, men do cause more accidents, but that's because they drive a lot more too. Now, if you account for total hours driven, then women are at fault slightly more than men, taking into account purely the number of accidents divided by hours behind the wheel. So, Mappy's right. Slow down, woman. Aw, look at this nice driver, paying attention, being respectful and attentive, so polite. But don't let him fool you. Behind the wheel is Mississippi driver. These folks are just playing all over the road, and in the ditch, and behind bars. Only 3 in 4 people have car insurance here? What the? They get the 8th most tickets, and Mississippi drivers die in car wrecks the 2nd most often, only behind Kentucky. The only bright side here is that, like in Alabama, far fewer Mississippi drivers get behind the wheel after drinking. Thank God. If you live in Mississippi, you should be ashamed of yourself and you should pull over right now, because you're probably watching this video while you're on your way to work. So that's it, the states with the worst drivers. If your state isn't on here, congrats. Though I'm sure every day you're out there, it feels like your state should be on this list. And if it seems like your state has good drivers, then likely You're the problem, mister. And in case you're wondering which state has the most and least traffic tickets, South Carolina, Iowa, and Wyoming people get caught speeding the most. Apparently, Kentucky and Connecticut people drive the slowest, I guess. And finally, which state is the one with the best drivers? Massachusetts is, along with Nebraska, Vermont, New York, Connecticut, Maine, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. So like almost all of New England except Nebraska has the best drivers? Why do Nebraskans drive so well? That's weird. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something. Now slow down! If you live in Missouri, then you drive like crap. If you live in Nevada, then you drive like crap. If you live in Alaska, then you drive like crap. If you live in Alabama, then you drive like crap. If you're in California, then you drive like crap. If you live in Arizona, then you drive like crap. There's a lot of bad drivers in this country. You know who you are. 'Cause Texans don't know how to drive their cars. Florida, people are so bad at it too. Tennessee, you should probably just walk home. Mississippi, you are the worst of all time. If you live in Missouri, then you drive like crap. If you live in Nevada, then you drive like crap. If you live in Alaska, then you drive like crap. How do you fix the problem with the bad drivers in California? Is there a solution?
I don't know that they can. I don't think that they have enough police around in the communities anymore. Really, there's so much going on. I don't think they can keep up with it.
So was I a good driver?
No, I don't really think you were a bad driver because I don't remember you getting a lot of tickets. Did you?
I got a couple just minor stuff. I hit a guy on a bike one time, but it was his fault. But overall, you know, I was pretty good. I'm still a pretty good driver, but a lot of people don't agree.
Well, you see, you only hit one kid on a bike. I mean, you know.
No, it was
I don't
yeah.
even remember that.
Yeah. Well, I don't either. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.